everybody. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap Light Unite show on UPRN Radio. And this is, August 30th, Friday, 2019. And today I am going to do a little bit different show. We're going to talk about how we can actually help immigrants that are in prison. Now, what did bring this about, you ask? Well, Spirit does some really strange things in my life. And, I like to watch movies, and like we all do, to take my mind off of life. And I finally sat down and I watched Netflix, the Orange is the New Black, the series. And this was its last season. So I started at the beginning, and if you don't know what it's about women in prison. And then it gets worse. I've never been to prison, and hopefully I never am there. God, please don't test me. So it was an eye-opener to see what it's like to be in prison and what women go through. And I'm sure you can also say that about the men. Maybe it's a little harsh, but I'm telling you, a women's prison seemed pretty harsh depending on, what type of prison they were in. And it's a good show. I mean, I would sit down and watch, one episode, and it was like, oh my God, I got to watch one more. Oh yeah, I've got time. It's not too late. I can squeeze in one more. And then I got to the last season, season 7. And they added immigrants into this. And the last 2 shows were about immigrants and what they were going through in prison and what our government, our evil friggin' Nazi government, is doing to these people. And ripping them apart and ripping children apart and making them go to court without representation. And I'm talking about babies and kids that don't know what the hell they're 4 and 5 and 3-year-olds representing themselves. No attorneys, nothing. Well, I watched the last 2 episodes of Orange is the New Black. And after the last episode, I was in tears. I was bawling my eyes out. I really had a hard time sleeping that night. I would wake up with images of the immigrant woman having her kids ripped away from her because they were sending her for prison for something she really didn't do. And then she's ended up at the end in the desert trying to get back, and she breaks her leg, and they leave her there. I mean, these images of how awful it is and how cruel our government is, and the people that are taking care of these immigrants. I mean, why would these for-profit companies want to release children or anyone back when our government's paying them $750 a day to keep these people, to keep these children? And they have a hard time saying that they don't deserve soap. And these evil people have taken medicines from children. And now the latest that, and is they want to kick out children that have had medical deferments so they could stay in the country getting medical treatments to stay alive. They've given them 30 days to leave. Now, this is so Nazi. This is what Nazis did during World War II. They killed off the weak. To them, it was eugenics, and to them, it was about blood purity. And what really gets me is these people in government look for this and have to think up and go, oh my God, look at this. We're going to get rid of medical deferments for kids that have medical problems. We're talking friggin' evil. And a lot of this has to do with Stephen Miller, the Nazi, who's also Trump's advisor. He's only in his 30s. This man is so evil. He is responsible for all the immigration crap that is now happening. So what I'm going to do tonight is, well, like I said, after I saw that, I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got to do something for these people that are in prison. What can I do? I am in Hawaii, and they don't have prisons here in Hawaii. They ship them all to the mainland, which is not really cool because now all these people are away from their families. Families want to go see them. They're going to spend over $500 for an airline ticket, round trip, $600. So what I did, what any brilliant person would do, is I Googled, how can we help immigrants in prison? And there was a list of 20 things that you can do. So I'm going to ask you guys, go get a pen and paper, because you might want to write down some of these things. This is divine service work. This is helping people that cannot help themselves. What would you have done during World War II with the Jews that were put in concentration camps? What would you have done? Would you have tried to help them? Would you have ignored it? Out of sight, out of mind? Would you have made some kind of effort to see what you could have done to help? Can you not do that now for these immigrants that are in prison? For what? For being the wrong color? From coming from South America because our government wants only white people in the country? Now, I may look white, but guys, I'm Polish, okay? And if you're really paid attention to what Hitler did to the Poles during World War II, it wasn't pretty. And I am not proud of Poland either, of my Polish heritage, because World War II, those Poles gave up the Jews to Hitler. So I'm not proud of that heritage. But Hitler killed a lot of Poles, not as many as Jews, though. But we weren't on the high racial purity list. So I come across some things, and I'm going to read to you some things that you can actually do for these immigrants. And maybe something will resonate, and you'll have, aha, I can do that. Because it did for me, and I'll tell you as we go down. So after I've gone through this list, and we've talked about it a little bit, we're going to do a little bit of energy work if we have time, directed towards Stephen Miller, the Nazi, and get him out of power. All right, so if you've got pen and paper, so this is a list of 20 things you can actually do to help immigrants. Now, immigrant children are dying in federal custody. Children in detention are being denied basic supplies like soap, blankets, and the Trump administration says that's fine. Trump threatened, then delayed mass immigration raids across the country. And actually, I know people that are immigrants, and, you know, they may have not gone into those big cities to raid because Trump told everybody they were. They branched out and they went to the smaller cities and they did their roundups. So they still did their roundups. And Trump is using the plan as a bargaining chip with Congress, while families are left in ever heightened state of uncertainty. While Congress is continually being called to act, you can take other kinds of actions to help immigrants in transition, in detention, and in crisis. Here are 20 ways. Number 1, you can march and protest. Japanese internment camp survivors recently protested outside of an Army base and former internment camp at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where migrant children will soon be housed, setting an example of how people can show up and speak out. Some of the Jewish groups are, instead of doing a Sunday holy service, they are going around ICE, joining hands, and not allowing people to go in the ICE building. And a lot of those are going to jail for it. And, you know, if you watch them, they're smiling because they know they're doing works of good. They're speaking out for what's right and giving voice to those that don't have a voice. All right, 2, the Lights for Liberty, a vigil to end human detention camps. Event aims to bring thousands of Americans to detention camps across the country into the streets and in their own front yards to protest the inhumane condition faced by the refugees. So it's called, you can Google this, guys. You know, you can make some effort. Lights for Liberty, a vigil to end human detention camps. All right, number 3, if you can, helping pay immigrants bail is one of the fastest ways to help those who have been separated from their children, advocates say. Community bail funds can reuse the money paid if the poor person shows up for their court appearance. Number 4, help pay for immigration counsel. Find organizations by Googling Indigent Immigration Defense, along with your state's name. Number 5, if you can, host an asylum seeker or refugee in your home with a group like, I want to write this down, Room for Refugees. Number 6, immigration is federal law, but politics are local. Tell your local law enforcement and government officials not to partner with the immigration and custom enforcement official for raids or any other purpose. Number 7, people of significant financial means could play a more active role funding nonprofit organizations that directly serve immigrants and advocate for legal reforms. Philanthropists can fund case management, human rights watchdog groups, research that drives policy, or higher education programs and scholarships for social workers who specialize in immigrant support services. Yeah, you might want to Google that one up too. Immigrant support services. The National Committee for Responsive Philanthropy has several articles on how philanthropy can back immigrant causes. Number 8, support local and national groups working to help immigrants, like Immigrant Families Together, RACES, that's RAICES, and the Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights. These local groups often hold community demonstrations and provide sanctuary, transportation, court accompaniment, and resettlement programs to immigrant populations, and they are in need of volunteers. Contact a local group and ask them what they need most. So the groups are, some of them, Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights, Immigrant Families Together, and RACES. 9, create a fundraiser. Immigrant Families Together offers a long list of potential fundraiser formats on its site, ranging from movie nights to silent auctions. So that's Immigrant Families Together, and they will guide you how to create a fundraiser. 10, Act Blue Charities is a registered organization formed to democratize charitable giving. It provides a list of reputable organizations that work to help children at the border, and that's Act Blue Charities. 11, volunteer locally to mentor and tutor English language learners. By teaching English as a second language, you can help people navigate American culture more successfully. 12, join a pen pal or visitation program for detained immigrants, such as the ones run by, gotta use your pen and paper, First Friends of New Jersey and New York. First Friends of New Jersey and New York. 13, immigrant focus groups are creating resources to help people know their constitutional rights. If confronted by U.S. immigration and custom enforcement officials, learn these rules and share them widely in your neighborhood and online. 14, use art, music, social media, conversation, and other expressions and connections to draw attention to these issues. Come on, that can't be too hard if you're on Twitter or Facebook. And, you know, if you're on Facebook, become my friend. I post all of this stuff on Facebook. I'll save you a little bit of time. All right, number 15. If you work in education, create school curricula to help young people learn about human and specifically immigrant rights. Now write this down. This is a group. Teaching Tolerance offers learning materials that facilitate the exploration of topics like race and immigration in the classroom and explore the value of a diverse society. And I am going to really look at that one for my grandkids and the schools in this area in Hawaii. Number 16, donate air miles. Lawyer Moms of America, that's a group. Lawyer Moms of America is one group that contributes airline miles and funds to people in border shelters. This enables those who have achieved asylum to leave and make space for new arrivals. Number 17, donate household goods. Organizations like the International Rescue Committee and U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants give people the basic supplies they need to establish a new life in the U.S. 18, if you can go to the border, you can join many others taking direct action there, from volunteer doctors and lawyers to those leaving water and supplies in the desert for immigrants. 19, explore how we got here. to learn more about how the U.S. government can respond to the border crisis and the root causes of migration and displacement of the Northern Triangle, the Central American countries, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala, feeding much of the migration. And do you understand people in those countries, because of climate change, there's a drought, there's no water, they can't grow anything. So they're being pushed up north. Survival. Now, the Human Rights First and other organizations actually have a blueprint that shows you how these people are displaced. A few of the recommendations for the U.S. are restored timely and orderly asylum processing at ports of entry, and an increase in permitted refugees, immigration judges, and the case management service for immigrants, such as the family case management program, which was terminated by the Trump administration in 2017. Now, if you've not ever traveled to Mexico, I mean, I have to get my teeth done. And if you've got visual and you can see my teeth, they're awesome. And Mexico is one of the countries I could actually afford to get my teeth done. So I had 22 crowns put in, 3 teeth pulled, 2 root canals, and a back bridge for under $5,000, and they did it all in a week. Not going to get that here in the United States, that's for darn sure. So actually, I carry a little bit of Mexico with me everywhere I go, and that Mexican energy. But what I saw going into Mexico from the United States, you walk in, they don't care. Come on in. They got the drugs, they got the prescriptions, they got the doctors. Come on, you got the money, you are welcome. We're not going to look at your passport. We don't care. Oh, sorry, but the only place that they don't really check the passport is in El Gadonas. It's right below Yuma, and you just need your driver's license to get through. And that's where I had my dentistry work done. But what I found out is on the way back, coming out of Mexico, the lines were tremendous, and you know they didn't have enough customs agents. Now, because I went to my getting dental work done, Sandy Dental, who I got my dental work done, is really professional. And what they do is they put a van in line to kind of have an idea how long it's going to take to get to the border. And when the van's about 10 minutes away from customs, they shuttle you over, you exchange, get into the other van, and you just go on through. But the United States is not making it easy. And if you've ever flown lately, if you notice how there's not a lot of TSA, in line anymore. I went to one airport in Fayetteville, Louisiana, and they had one TSA guard for slow line and what I call the golden ticket line, where you're TSA approved and you just get to shoot through without taking your shoes off, and you're supposed to go through faster. And what that guy was doing, he was going, okay, we'll take 4 of you from that line and 4 of you from the fast line. So it didn't matter. And it's because there weren't enough people there. There weren't enough people working. So our government is creating these long lines and doing this with purpose and intent. All right, number 20, finally, do call on Congress to support legislation like the current shutdown Child Prison Camps Act and Families Not Facilities Act. Or tell your senators and representatives to stop giving increased funds to the government agencies responsible for the rise in detention. I mean, these people are making friggin' money. Now, how does that tie in with Trump? I don't know, but I noticed that these for-profit companies donated him a lot of money. Quid pro quo. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. Now, what other actions can you take? Remember to practice self-care and do what you can. Now, when I read these, what really resonated to me the most is writing to immigrants. I'm in Hawaii, there's no prisons here. I can become a pen pal. So what I did was I wrote to first friends, so they're real, and I volunteered. Now, living inside of an immigration detention center isn't easy. And some people have said they feel lonely, confused, bored, and afraid. Being separated from family and friends and all that is familiar is stressful. Being treated like a prisoner while awaiting an unknown outcome can take a tremendous psychological toll. Some, like the men being held in these facilities, don't even have a chance to go outside. Often the food is unfamiliar, bland, and limited. Phone calls cost several dollars a minute and therefore are out of reach financially for many. So your letter can be solace, encouragement, and a very real connection to the outside world in the midst of this difficult time in someone's life. When we write to men and women being detained, we're making a human connection across the walls and barbed wire. We are honoring the dignity of every human being, something not always done inside the centers. Your letter also sends a message to the person receiving it and the others around him that someone knows they are there, that they're not alone. They have support. Some people have even said that guards treat them better when they receive letters and visitors. As your letter will mean so much to many of the people to whom you write, there's a few things to understand before you make a commitment to write to those being detained. We write as friends. We're not writing as lawyers, doctors, or social workers. We are one human connecting with another human being in solidarity as we seek to honor the dignity of all. Do not attempt to give legal advice. Keep your promises. Don't make commitments you can't keep, which is, a good advice even throughout your life. If you say you will write to someone, you must. Your letter means so much more than most of us can possibly imagine. You may not be able or willing to do what someone asks of you, call family, send money, etc., but that's okay. Know your boundaries. And talk with a facilitator of the writing project when questions arise. Do not take away someone's power. While they may be in a temporary vulnerable position, many immigrant men and women in detention centers are some of the most courageous, intelligent, gifted, resourceful people you may have the privilege of meeting. Do not romanticize them as the detainee or victimize them to the point of taking power away from them. Many have been successful business people, survived horrendous situation due to their own resourcefulness, traveled the world to arrive here, learned to speak several languages, attend university, and been leaders in their families, towns, and schools. And be aware of your own power. You have more power than detained immigrants due to your freedom and status in this country. And be careful not to abuse the power in difference, and never do for someone what he or she can do for themselves. And also keep in mind your letters may be read by a guard. Tactful and conscious, for example, if you talk about immigration or the detention system with anger or disgust, it may be the detainee that will be the one who will suffer from your words, not you. We're here to be compassionate friends and to love everyone. Be sensitive to the fact that the person reading your letter may be inferring messages differently than you imply due to their current circumstances. Loneliness, power differences, and language differences could play into the person being detained, misunderstanding you, or feeling more intimately connected to you than you intend. Now, also, this group has a strict no proselytizing policy. It's not appropriate to try to convert anyone to your religion. It is important to give the detained immigrant the power to guide the conversation. If they bring up religion, then you may discuss the topic on their terms. Be careful to never make it seem like participating in a certain religion is necessary to receive letters from you. Keep in mind that it could be members of your religion that persecuted them in their home country. It is sometimes religious persecution that has caused someone to flee his or her home. So religion in general may be a complex and painful topic. Some people may have faced death due to their beliefs, making it even more inappropriate to try to convince them to adopt your religious beliefs. All that said, if the person finds strength from their faith, it's appropriate to encourage them in their own faith. This may mean Christians, male Muslim prayers or poems to someone to whom they are writing, even if you are not a person of faith. If religion is important to the person with whom you are in contact, you may want to ask, for instance, how their faith is sustaining them. And just remember that you're a friend there to uplift detained individuals through their own beliefs, not someone trying to convert. And again, this group fully supports lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex people. Some people have fled their country because of the attempts of their life, on their life, due to their sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. We do not believe that being LGBTI is a sin and will never attempt to change anyone. And they go far beyond tolerance. We still celebrate the gifts of the LGBT. So, what you do, you're interested in writing. And by the way, if you're going to write to these people, they suggest for your privacy that you use first friend's address as a return address. So no one, has your address or your post office box. All right, so if you want to write to immigrants that are in detention, you can contact First Friends of New Jersey and New York, 53 South Hackensack Avenue, Kearny, New Jersey. That's Kearny, New Jersey, 7032. Their telephone number is 908-965-0455. And you can email them info@firstfriends New Jersey, New York. Okay. Let me do that. Email info at FIRSTFRIENDSNJNY.org. Okay. Now do something nice. Do some service work. At least you can do is become a pen pal. And I've given you many suggestions. Do something that your heart tells you that will bring you joy because you're doing service work. And these people need help. And I ask you again, what would you have done if you lived during the time of World War II and you lived in Europe? What would you have done? What kind of effort? Would you have resisted the Nazis? Because now is a chance to resist the Nazis because they're the ones in power. And this is Nazi stuff, where it goes from immigration, throwing kids out that need medical, ripping children from their mothers, separating them, putting up them for adoption without telling their parents. That's sick and twisted. So you are not helpless. There is things you can do. And if you need a reminder, you can listen to this again. It does go up on my YouTube channel. And it's also on UPRN. And it goes up on the archives where you can download it. So I'm also, in the next couple of weeks, going to have some people on from some of these groups talking about what's happening with the immigrants and also what we can do. This is a holiday. I couldn't get anybody to come on during the holiday. So for me, I figure at least I can do is go through some suggestions and what we can actually do and not just sit there going, oh my God, I feel so helpless. Well, you're only helpless unless you take action. And there's plenty of ways out there to do it. Write some letters, write to your congressman, call them, especially the Republican ones that are turning a blind eye. Give Nancy Pelosi a call. And, all your senators and Congress and say, what the hell are you doing on vacation while kids are in cages and they are dying? They are being ripped from their families. You are on vacation. How do you sleep at night? How is that taking care of the problems of the country when we need you here? You go on vacation. What can I say other than, I'm sorry, but that's sick and twisted. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or a Demorat or a Public Rat. It's evil what you guys are doing and allowing Trump to do. And Nancy Pelosi not pushing for impeachment and keeping your mouth shut. You are complicit. You are complicit with those kids being in jail and prison. All you do is go, shame on Trump. Honey, you need to retire. Because you are, every day Trump's in power, we're going down. He does something more evil. And you're not stopping it. You went on vacation. All you guys went on vacation. If you want to know what prison life is like, watch Orange is the New Black. And if you don't want to go through the whole thing, just watch the last season. And if it doesn't wrench your heart, the last couple of shows, I don't know what to say. Maybe you need lessons on being human. Because, man, it ripped me apart. Enough to take action and get off my ass and start looking for what can I do. Now, you can also collect books in Spanish for these people. Soft soft cover books. Okay? That's not a big deal. You can start looking for books in Spanish, soft cover. So, I really, really hope this helped and has given you some ideas on what the possibilities are and what we can do as a group. We stand together and we start writing these people and really giving more help. It's going to matter, and it will matter in their lives. For you of the older generation, what are you telling your grandkids, your great grandkids? They ask you, what have you done? What are you doing? Are you explaining to them what's happening so it stops and children don't grow up to be racist people? That's something you can do. So take some action, guys. There's many people out there that need us. And by being a pen pal, and matter of fact, I'm a Leo, so a little is good, a lot's got to be great, right? Well, this First Friends also, they're responsible for 4 jails and detention centers, and I am going to be a pen pal to a person from each one. It's not that hard. It's not going to be that much effort. And when you write that letter, you're going to share it and maybe give hope to the others, like they said. Make a ripple. It'll go out. And it goes around the world. How you help one person uplifts the earth. That's enlightenment. That's being connected to the Creator. So please, guys, make some effort. Talk about what's happening. And if you really, are upset, do something. Google, what can I do to help immigrants? I'm sure there's more out there. Look in your local area. Find out if you've got a detention center near you. Protest. Go there, see what you can do. Contact these companies, these groups that are working with the immigrants, these nonprofit groups. They need volunteers. That's enlightenment in action. And it's how we fight the Nazis. One way we fight. So, guys, that's it for tonight. This is Cathy Bilsky, the Quantum Leap, Let Light Unite show on UPRN Radio. And again, this is August 30th, 2019. I will see you next week, same time, 9:10 Pacific time, midnight to 1 Eastern time. Share the show. This is a service show. People say, I don't know what to do about immigrants. Go, Cathy did a show. She'll give it to you in an hour. Very entertaining. It's great. Watch it. And then join me on Facebook, do more energy work. Go to my YouTube channel. I've got all my shows there, as well as UPRN Radio. Subscribe to us. And I have a website, www.angellighteom.com, ANGELITEOM.com. I have all my cool healing tools that glow in the dark made out of angel light. Oops, excuse me. You can catch me at my store, 808-775-9400. And I am in Honoka'a, Hawaii. It's on the Big Island. Great time to come. The water is nice and warm, clean, clear. We're not having hurricanes right now. Please, God, don't test us. It's a great time to come. Anyway, you come see me. I do free pain and stress release. I lay on my Angel Light bed for free. I do little free Angelite mini massages, curse removals, and I got a cool store filled with really cool stuff. So on that note, I'm going to say, please have a very wonderful, happy, safe holiday, and think what you can do for immigrants. See you next week. Aloha. Good night.